welcome into another hot Monday afternoon here at the Eastside Center. More Peoria Sunday Morning League Baseball on Clutch Sports Media. And one of our games of the week, Brock Alkire, takes us to a league mainstay that's seen lots of success. The Miller Lite Falcons taking on a league expansion team. The Sound of Peoria said that should be a good one. Jonathan Michael here alongside with Sunday Morning League intern Brock Alkire. And Brock, this is just a really interesting matchup on paper. You got, the league mainstay, Miller Lite. They're having a great season. Sound of Peoria, obviously expansion team, trying to get it going, but you never know what we could see here today.
Yeah, we're going to see a potential upset here. Sound of Peoria in last place in the league. Miller Lite Falcons are red hot this season, 7-1 on the year, looking to continue. They lost their first game of the year and have won 7 in a row. We're looking for a good one here at Eastside.
And we're getting started here on the hill for Miller Lite tonight. It's Charlie Hodges from East Carolina University. And Brock, that's been the story of this Miller Lite team, is just pitching. They got lots of it.
They've got a lot of pitching depth, have only allowed 9 runs this season, and they've played 8 games. Pretty good start for the Miller Lite Falcons pitching staff, and they've been absolutely dominant.
And leading off for the Sound of Peoria Gnatz, this is Sean Green Jr., who's starting at shortstop today. You see the Gnatz again in their first season. They have kind of adopted the branding similar to, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the old minor league baseball team called the Savannah Gnatz. So kind of that emerald green and tan. Some pretty sharp uniforms that they got here. So you figured, hey, things might be a little tough in our first season. We can at least look good.
Yeah, I would have to say both these teams have some great-looking uniforms. Miller Lite Falcons actually have a couple of uniforms that they have showcasing during the season. But, yeah, both these teams are looking good out there on the field.
And Green works a full count against Hodges. We'll bring you the full starters and lineups for both teams here after this payoff pitch from Hodges. Fouled right back, so we'll do it again. It's J.P. Meyer on deck for the Gnatz right now. He'll be starting in left field for them here tonight. Again, glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Third year of us doing Sunday morning league games. This is the first time, however, the Sound of Peoria Gnatz have made our airwaves. And Sean Green draws the leadoff walk. So a good start to the ball game for the newcomers.
Yeah, good start. Trying to get some better success against the Falcons. They've played, these two teams have played against each other twice, and the Falcons have shut them out both times. So they're looking to score their first run in the third meeting against these Falcons team, who we've been saying this pitching depth is unbelievable.
Most definitely, as J.P. Meyer takes a strike high. Coming up after Meyer and the rest of the Gnatz order, it's Alex Satunis playing second base. Jake Smith, the first baseman, in the cleanup spot. He'll be followed by Alex Gutierrez at catcher. Jace Wilkerson playing third base. Hunter McCaw in right. Cam Ahart in center field. And then not batting, but pitching for the Gnatz tonight will be Jonathan Neville. We'll see him in a little bit. Here's Hodges after that. Throw it out to first. Coventry rifles it down there, but the runner's back safely. And Brock, talking about this Miller Lite defensive alignment, newcomer Brendan Coventry has a big arm behind home plate, former IVC Gray Ghost.
Yeah, something that I love about the Falcons is that they have a lot of veterans on the team like McConkey and stuff, but they've really adapted to the youth. They've got a lot of young guys like Coventry that's in the lineup. Really good catcher, has a lot of pop to his bat as well. But yeah, that's what I like about the Falcons. They have their veterans, but then also they have a stud rookie squad on their team.
They really do. Again, they brought in a lot of great high school players. Coventry, R.J. Duncan, who's not in the lineup tonight because at least we understand he was playing some travel ball in a different state today, as J.P. Meyer strikes out some good pitches there. That at-bat from Hodges. So now we'll see Alex Satunis, who brings a big bat to the plate, standing in from the left-hand side.
Yeah, Alex Satunis had one of the greatest weeks ever, hitting just a couple bombs. He batted 500 in the week with 4 home runs. That's pretty decent if you want to start off in the Sunday morning league. This guy's a scary guy. If you're a pitcher, you're fearing Alex Satunas.
And Hodges goes wide there, and Satunas doesn't chase. Sean Green Jr. again at first base, who we haven't seen a ton of this season, does have a lot of speed. You can see Hodges, a couple of pickoff throws here in the early going, and same pitch, same location that time for Hodges, so that'll be 2-0. Sand come in at 3-7, Falcons at 7-1. It's the top of the league versus the bottom of the league right now, but still, again, plenty of time for Sound of Peoria to get things going. And you're not always going to see that success right away your first year. Brienzo's, the Orioles, had a little bit of a rough go their debut season, but have quickly turned into a contender. 2-0 from Hodges. Green is running. Coventry throws down. Throw a bit to the left, and they got him, though. Perfectly placed there from Coventry. He gives a little Dikembe Mutombo finger wag.
Yeah, Coventry. We were just talking about the arm he has behind the plate, and he shows it off right there. Again, not surprising that the Sand Gnats were aggressive on the base paths because, again, they've seen each other twice already in the season. They haven't scored, so trying to get a runner in scoring position, trying to score their first run against the Falcons is crucial in this game.
Most definitely, and it's just so hard to score against these Falcons. Have only allowed, I believe, 9 runs the entire season so far. Again, they've played 8 games, so do the math, that's about 1 run per game. So it's going to be tough sledding, maybe sometimes for the Sand Gnats here today, but you never know what could happen. As Satunas will try and get on here now with a full count. Hodges looks in, deals on the outside, and just a bit outside. Satunas draws the free pass. Hodges is second of the inning.
Yeah, good at bat by Satunas. We expected them to pitch cautiously to Alex Satunas just because of the power that he's displayed early in the season. Now again, we have a runner on. Are they gonna send him?
It's Jake Smith, the cleanup batter, and first baseman digging in now. He looks at the ball up and in. Smith so far on the season hitting .385, a double, a homer, 4 RBIs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And that one just grazes the bottom of the zone. Nice breaking pitch there from Hodges. Soft breeze here today at the East Side Center. Again, very, very hot day outside as Smith looks at a strike inside. Highs have been in the 90s, Brock, for about almost the entire week. And Hodges deals that one off the glove of Coventry, and Satunas will head over to second. So I get a runner in scoring position, and now just a simple base hit might be enough to score.
Yeah, and you were talking about the heat. I'm focusing today on the catchers. The longer the innings are, the more it's going to be heat exhaustion. Playing on this turf, it gets really hot on this turf.
Yes,
it's been high 90s, so the quicker you are in and out of the inning, the better it is for the players. And as we see here, trying to score their first run of the ball game.
Yeah, and Brock, I don't know about you, but I'm sitting here in shorts right now, and I'm pretty hot. I'm sweating already, and these players obviously in pants, and you get some shade in the dugout. But again, can't be easy for any of them here today with this heat as Smith looks at one inside, and Hodges a bit frustrated with himself there. Again, I think you wanted to be a little bit more efficient this inning. Sound of Peoria has done a nice job extending at bats and just being patient.
Yeah, 2 walks in the first inning, up in his pitch count. And
3 walks as wild, and that is Satunas. He is safe. Smith will trot down to first. So runners on the corners now for the Sand Gnats, and Brock, if Green wasn't thrown by now.
Yeah, free gunning that runner out, getting Green out on the base paths was key. He put in play yet. Now should be a good time for the Sand Gnats.
That would be correct as Gutierrez skies one up, teetering on the edge and going out of play just behind the Falcons' dugout. That one hit a mile in the air from Alex Gutierrez, who's 1 for 5 on the season with 2 strikeouts.
Also, we don't need a pass, ball, or wild pitch could score in the first run. All about momentum here. If you can score a run right inning, it would be very good for the Sand Gnats.
So Hodges will try and come in with a strike here. This one grounded to the third base. Chase Ulrich, a nice play over at third, and they get the runner at second and hold the Sound of Peoria despite 3 walks in the inning. Nice glove work there from Chase Ulrich.
Yeah, nice play by Ulrich to get out of the inning unscathed. Good work from the Falcons to keep this game scoreless. We saw both teams, the Sand Gnats, have runners in scoring position multiple times. Gun out, you see them trying to get aggressive because tonight, when it's so hot like this, you got to wonder, how many runs are we going to score tonight?
Yeah, and I think what a counterpoint I was just thinking about in that first inning was, we saw Hodges, not losing control, but a couple balls I think maybe went a little bit further away than he wanted to, and you got to wonder what the grip of the ball is going to be like tonight. Again, with it being so hot, it's going to be tough. The pitcher's hands are going to be sweaty, so maybe that evens the playing field a little bit more for the Sand Gnats.
It's going to be a interesting one tonight, just because of the sweltering heat and playing on turf. Combine the two, it's going to be a rough game for the guys in the outfield, especially the catchers. The catchers just have to stay hydrated in the dugout. You see the catchers take a little bit longer time getting in and out of the dugout.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Brendan Coventry and Alex Gutierrez. Some hot games for them. I was going to say they're going to earn their paycheck here tonight, but baseball league in America going on, you have to help me, Brock, 100 and something.
110th season of
Wow.
the Sunday Morning League. Yep, it's been quite a while, a rich history of the league. We've seen a lot of players come through here, a lot of good players. MLB, just a great league to be a part of, and if you've been in Peoria, you probably have a relation to the Sunday Morning League just because of how many players have played in this league.
Most definitely. I was doing a little bit of a couple of years ago on the Sunday Morning League, and it's kind of how it got started. I was naturally curious about the history of the league with it, being so old, and I'm like, how did this get started? How has it been able to keep going for so long? And I saw that initially it got started that had, a lot of workers, employees that wanted to kind of do some, I don't know if team or employee or team bonding was a phrase back in the 1910s, but I think that was part of it. Also, there's kind of some healthy competition, so they got a lot of sponsor it, and obviously we still have lots of area businesses that have sponsored all of these teams throughout these 110 years. So I want to shout all of them out. Here's one, especially Sound of Peoria, sponsor of the Miller Lite Falcons. So really cool, 110 seasons of amateur baseball here in Peoria. Falcons will get in the bottom of the first with Peyton Bradford, their center fielder. He'll be followed in Coventry, the 3 that we're guaranteed to see here in the bottom of the first against Jonathan Neville. As Bradford looks at a strike, Neville comes in through 14 innings, has a solid 1.5 ERA, an 0-6 walks, and 6 hits allowed. So overall, solid numbers here. Many newcomers on this Sand Gnats team to the league.
Yeah, the Sand Gnats have bring over a couple guys, but a lot of them are new. Fun fact, there are some guys on the Sand Gnats that played years and years ago in the Sunday Morning League, but you see a lot of guys, a lot of guys from Peoria Heights that are going into college, so it's good to see all the new faces along with the guys that are coming back into the league.
As Neville strikes out, Bradford swinging on some good pitches there. So that will put one down for Alex Seaton from the Falcons. 67 on the year with 2 RBIs. That one a ball high. The Sandats defensive alignment in the outfield from left to right is J.P. Meyer, Cam Ahart, and Hunter McCaw. Around the infield from base is Jace Wilkerson, Sean Green, Alex Satunis, and Jake Smith. And Alex Gutierrez behind the plate tonight, catching from Neville, who looks at ball.
You're talking about this pitcher, Neville. He's been a workhorse for the Sandats. He's been one of their most consistent pitchers, pitched a lot of innings here early on in the season, and just has been really, really consistent for the Sandats.
Yeah, it's mostly by Neville and Finn. The Sandats Heath has thrown 18 frames this season, but Neville's got the better numbers of the two. 2-2 now on seat, and sinking quickly to right. It's going to get down and past right fielder McCaw. This is going to be extra bases. It might be 3 for Seaton. Up and not pay off.
Yeah, we saw McCaw out in right field, sliding, trying to make a catch. They're giving up the couple bases. It could have been just a single if he played it correct. A sliding catch couldn't come out with the Falcons. Now with the runner in scoring position.
Golden opportunity here for Brendan. And again, Coventry made a name for himself, one of the top few area players in the high school ranks over the last few years, and multi-year starter at IVC, not just in baseball, but also football as well. That one inside and too far inside for that one to be called a strike. So on the rookie Coventry, again, he's one of a couple players that maybe ups his numbers a bit, could be in the running for rookie of the year, hitting .312 so far with a double, a triple.
Yeah, Coventry has put himself in the rookie of the year category. There's a bunch of Falcons that could also be in the rookie of the year discussion. We had talked about Duncan, Quinn, Jarek Quinn, newcomer. The Falcons bring a lot of veterans to the team, but it's been their rookies that have really been an eye-opener for this league.
3-1 in Coventry, a bit behind that one. Good slap from Neville, as that will load up the count. A strikeout would be huge here for the Sandats. Anything in play, you have to assume Seaton's going to be running. That one right down the middle. Coventry can't catch up with it. And there's a big one for the Sandats Ace. Now 2 down to the runner on third for Luke Ketchup.
Big strikeout right there. Now 2 outs. That eliminates the ground ball RBI. Big strikeout right there on the mound.
Swings and misses. So Neville finding his groove now, and you got to really bear down here, not just for Gutierrez. He can't let that pass ball score a run potentially. That one line to right, going to get down. Miller Lite's on the board. Ketchum is going to make the turn at first, and he's headed to second as that ball skipped all the way to the wall. Right in no man's land. Cam Ahart gets to it, but too late.
RBI double, and just like that, the get their 44th run on the board this season. We talked about their defense only allowing 9 runs, and this is just their 9th game of the season. Pretty impressive stuff.
If you tuned into our last broadcast, you might know that we said time and again, this is a pitcher-dominated league, so about 5 runs per game. Overall, pretty solid. It's going to win you some in the PSML, and the Falcons have a lot of East Peoria connections on this team, and one of them here is batting now. It's Ethan Sesson Green, and that will do it for the bottom of the first. So Luke Ketchum brings in, started by a triple from Seaton. Ketchum brings it around. It's 1-0 Falcons here after 1 inning here from the East Side Center in East Peoria. Again, I wanted to get just a quick reminder. We want to thank all of our sponsors tonight, including Miller Lite and Baumgarten Distributing, the Sound of Peoria, official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League. And Bodyarmor, probably pretty great, refreshing hydration. And it comes in a variety of flavors, and it's been the official sports drink of the PSML now for them for their support of baseball here in Central Illinois. I also want to thank the rest of our sponsors. You got Cruisin's, Tin Lizard Bar and Grill, Brienzo's, Firehouse Pizza. Obviously, a couple others I'm blanking on at the moment right now. Move Smart Realty Group, Cole's Diamond Gallery, who we saw earlier last week, and so far this season, 3-2. The score of both the games we've broadcasted to this point. One of them coming via walk-off, and the other one wasn't decided until almost the very end. So teams like to play each other close when we show up here, which is always makes it fun.
The good games here on Clutch Sports, and hoping for another one. As we said, first playing the last place team could pull off an upset here tonight. But yeah, a lot of close games, hoping for another side center.
So it'll be Wilkerson, McCaw, and Ahart due up here in the second for the Sand Gnats. Wilkerson digs in, hitting .067 on the year, so trying to get some right up the middle. Diving stop made by Chris Finn, but he's not going to be able to turn that. That one actually did squirt by into the outfield. So a leadoff single on the first pitch.
Way to be aggressive there. We average, but getting on the attack early, getting that fastball right up the middle, and just like that, we get the Sand Gnats.
Now comes the right fielder, McCall, wearing double fives. Don't see number 55 worn too often. Brock, we did see Luke Ketchum for Miller Lite. He wears number 99 for the Falcons. And he's going to lay down a bunt, and it's going to be misplayed by Hodges. McCall is going to reach his glove. Probably going to be scored officially an E1. And now the Sand Gnats are threatening here in the top of the second.
Sand Gnats playing the small ball, getting it down. We've seen them struggle with runners in position. We saw three runners on, bases loaded, and couldn't score. But now first and second with nobody out brings up a clutch time to tie the game or potentially take the lead.
Towering presence of Cam Ahart, one of several Peoria Heights Patriots on the team. Runner is going down to third. Great throw from Coventry. And call him safe. I think the throw beat him out. I'm not sure if they got the tag down in time. So chalk that up a stolen base for Jason.
We just talked about being aggressive. Now second and third, nobody out. The Sand Gnats want to score right here.
Back, and really all you need to do here if you're the Sand Gnats is just put something in play. You obviously pop out is not probably going to get things done. Foul out may not get things done, but if you just get a ground ball, fly ball, you're on this at bat or the next one, you got a good chance of tying this one up or maybe taking the lead.
Yeah, and coming up is we're almost to the top of the Sand Gnats lineup as well. If you can get a runner on that top of the order going, that'd be ideal for the Sand Gnats.
What's ideal for the Falcons is a strikeout there from Charlie Hodges. He's second of the game as he gets Ahart to swing. Ahart's had a little bit of trouble making some contact this year, 17th K of the season. But again, he is a Sunday Morning League rookie, so that'll bring up the pitcher Neville with a chance to help his own cause. Neville batting .071 on the year with 1 walk and 3 strikeouts.
That was a big-time strikeout. Now you have a potential double play possibility and get out of the inning without a run.
Strikeout order would be just what the doctor ordered Falcons. And pitch to the lefty is strike, so 1-1 now on the Sand Gnats pitcher. Leadoff drew a walk his first time up. And Neville gets jammed and fights it off foul. So now you're in another tough position here for Sound of Peoria. 2 strikes. Need to put something in play here. You can't let this opportunity get past you.
Yeah, that was a good pitch right there, jamming him in
on the outside, and Neville couldn't quite catch up to it. That's 2 straight Ks there for the East Carolina Pirate. Charlie Hodges. Now we're back to the top of the order, and now all the pressure's on Sean Green.
2 straight strikeouts after nobody out. Green has to come through here, batting leadoff tonight for the Sand Gnats.
Branded several runners back in the first, and they started 2 at Smith. And this time, they don't want to strand 2 more after both of them reached off to start the inning. Hodges looks in and fires Coventry. A nice grab on that one upstairs. 2-0, runners on the corners. Hit to the wall, might put the Sand Gnats in front away, and that one just missed him. I couldn't see that ball. Can't imagine it missed Green by that much.
That was a close pitch right there, off speed.
And Green definitely taken there, had no intention of swinging the bat, and looks at a strike. Again, he looked at 4 wide ones from Hodges his first time up, so he's definitely going to make Hodges beat him. Here this at bat. That one also a strike. Green was trotting down to first already. That one sunk in at the last moment.
Big pitch right here for the East Carolina Pirate. After having runners in scoring position, potentially 3 straight Ks.
Full count. Here we go. That one chopped foul. McCaw took off immediately on that pitch. Not much of a surprise there. Runners on the corners, especially full count. McCaw can almost start walking down second right now if he really wants to. There he goes. That one high and away, or high and inside rather. And Green draws his second walk of the evening. So now the bases are juiced for J.P. Meyer. Sand Gnats left fielder struck out his first time up.
Yeah, we've seen Hodges have some struggle with his command right here. 4 walks, and we're only in the second inning. But we've seen a couple of punch-outs that have saved him. Now, bases loaded for the Sand Gnats. We talked about their struggles with runners in scoring position, just like last inning, and now they have another prime opportunity to score here.
Hodges shoved one right down the middle for strike 1. This one high, and Meyer swings and misses. Now quickly 0-2. You know, Hodges, I'll probably tell you maybe this isn't his best stuff here tonight, but he is doing a good job of bearing down when it really matters.
Hodges, one of the hardest throwers in the league.
Strike 3 on a curveball. Beautiful pitch from Hodges, who strikes out the side despite a single, an error on himself, and a walk. And Sound of Peoria still has yet to put up a run on the Miller Lite Falcons this season. They've been so close. See if Miller Lite can add to their total here in the bottom of the second.
That was a good inning to come back from by Charlie Hodges. He had some struggle with his command early on with now 4 walks in the inning. But you see the 3 Ks to get out of it. Good for the Falcons. Now looking to expand on their lead.
Hodges, a Delavan native, and he is I believe one of his brothers. I don't know if his brother or his dad, but I know someone in his family is the head coach of the Delavan Panthers baseball team, and one that's always competitive year in and year out. You know, a small school like Delavan, I believe only about 130 students at that school. So, you know, and anytime they have any really team sport, especially when it's kind of the main one during the season like baseball is, it's going to be kind of the talk of the town, and Delavan always has great players year in and year out. As we'll now move down to the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Falcons. It'll be Chase Ulrich, Chris Finn, and Ethan Krutke to bat for the Falcons, who only put 2 runners on in their first inning. Town of Peoria, meanwhile, has had 5 runners reach base. They still trail here in the early going. A little bit of a look ahead to the rest of our schedule here. Clutch Sports Media back here on Thursday at the Eastside Center for more Sunday morning league action. And that game will be between ball that has rocked the bleachers right behind us. Again, lots of fields around here at the Eastside Center. See the Brienzo's Orioles take on the Cruzin's Reds. Should be a solid game between 2 contenders there. On ClutchSportsIL.com and our YouTube channel is Ulrich looks at a strike. And that one hit well in the center. Is it going to get down? And it's Ahart. Another fielding mishap for the Sandnads. Said Ulrich is going to turn second, going to go to third. His batting helmet hanging on for dear life. And it hangs on, and Ulrich will hang on to third base with a stand-up triple. The Falcons' second of the game.
Yeah, a little misplay out there in center. We saw up there. The sun is tough out here at Eastside of pavement, and Ulrich running the bases, reminding me of a Bradley Jackson Chatterton with the iconic helmet toss going to third.
A foul ball here. And while we do so, Brock, I believe we had a switch or something was not correctly relayed to us on the lineup card given to us. It looks like Neville is at first base now for Son of Peoria, and I believe that's Satunis on the mound now for the Sandnads, because I saw his jersey. It says Tuna on the back. That's his nickname. Neville, the kind of the long flowing hair, now at first base, it appears. Either that or both those players did a jersey swap, and unbeknownst to us. We'll roll with Satunis being the pitcher for now. As here's Chris Finn, second baseman for the Falcons. Quickly ahead in the count, and Finn having a strong start to the year, hitting .545 with 6 hits and an RBI. Has not struck out either, and now 3-1.
Really strong start for Finn this season. Prime spot here to drive in a run.
Runner on third, less than 2 outs. Always want to score in this situation. As rather that 2-2 pitch now goes wide, so should make it 3-2. And the pitch right down the middle, strike 3, and Brock, that is the broadcaster's jinx in action right there. I said no strikeouts for Chris Finn this season, and what do you know what happened? So apologies to Mr. Finn. It was not intentional. Now they'll bring up Ethan Krutke, the first baseman, another former East Peoria Raider for the Falcons. That one rides inside and not far away from hitting him.
Yeah, a lot of East Peoria talent on the Falcons. Krutke had quite a high school career at East Peoria, as well as a lot of others.
That one will get down very safely, and Krutke has himself an RBI. Ulrich trots on home without any trouble. It's now 2-0 Falcons here in the bottom of the second. So even though Son of Peoria has done a better job of putting runners on base, the Falcons have been much more efficient with their hits so far, and partially you can attribute to those 2 attempted diving plays by the Sandnads in the outfield that both led to 2 triples.
Yeah, the Falcons have been really good with runners in scoring position, cashing in on those runners. Unlike the Sandnads, who we've seen struggle after getting runners on. Now it's 2-0. Looking for a bigger lead for the Falcons here with Quinn up to the plate.
And that's the league veteran Brian Quinn, who's played in the league since 1993, among one of the all-time leaders in career hits and doubles. He's won 3 MVP awards here in the Sunday Morning League, and so far this season he's 1 for 8 with 2 strikeouts and a stolen base, and he's watched 3 balls right inside, so I doubt he's going to be chasing much here. That one in there for a strike. Krutke, not a ton of speed at first base, but you never know. Now the 3-1 shot to the left side, and it handcuffs Wilkerson, who just can't find the handle on it. And that will put runners on first and second with still just 1 out for the Falcons in E5.
Tough one right there, just swallowed up Smith at third base. And now first and second with 1 out. And it brings up the top of the lineup in Peyton Bradford.
Now we're back to the top of the order with Peyton Bradford, who pops this one up. Sandnats need this one. There's Neville, and he's got it. Hangs on in the back of his glove for a clutch second out there.
That was a big out right there with the top of the order. You were looking for a base hit single, potentially scoring a run, and now there's 2 outs.
So now it's Alex Seaton, who tripled to right his first time up. As when McCaw tried to, as that one is ripped foul onto the other field and going to the fence over there. But you have to wonder, if maybe the Sandnats is trying to play those balls conservatively on a bounce. It's in the moment you want to make those hero plays, but you got to wonder in hindsight, those 2 triples both leading to runs, maybe we're still looking at a scoreless ball game if they just play those on a hop.
Yeah, there was an aggressive approach out there in the outfield. Again, the sun also has to be a big factor right now, just shining out on the outfield. Tough play for the outfielders.
Out and a strike there to Seaton. Yeah, the sun is shining directly into about left center right now, but definitely a factor for anyone in the field here today. And the pitch is swung on, popped up. Looks like Satunis, or rather whoever the new second baseman is. Satunis was the second baseman, but then came in to pitch. Either way, 3 outs for the Sandnats. In the bottom of the second, they gave up another one, but nice job there by their pitcher to strand 2 base runners there with 1 out. We'll move on into the top of the third. Again, interesting kind of contrast between these 2 teams. Miller Lite is won many league championships, been in the league for a long time, at least the sponsor name has been. It's out of Peoria in their first year, 3-7 on the season, and just trying to kind of get their feet, or their wings rather, more under them here in this opening season. Still some time, where some teams are around halfway done, about 20-25 games or so in this regular season, correct?
Yeah, some teams have played 10 games. The Sandnats, this is their 11th game of the season. For the Falcons, this is their 9th game of the season. But yeah, we're getting around the point where you start to see maybe a couple moves being made to get them to the push for the postseason for a good seed. But yeah, as of right now, anything can happen really. The Sandnats aren't out of it at all. Actually, they've got a lot of time left, and they've got a couple big games coming up.
And that's one thing about this league, Brock, is trades aren't common, but they are not taboo. They're not outlawed in this league. There are some trades. Interesting to keep track of. Everyone just kind of stays put. A lot of teams at the moment are in contention. You have Miller Lite at 7-1, and Brienzo's 2 games back. They're 5-3. Cole's Diamond Gallery at 4-3, 2.5 games back. Poor Bros at 3-3. Tin Lizard 5-5. Moose Smart 4-5. Firehouse 3-5. Cruisin's 3-5. So I mean, every one of those teams is only a win or 2 away from just being right in the thick of things. And outside of Miller Lite is at the moment.
Yeah, that's the best part of the league. Also, is the playoffs are double elimination. So first game of the playoffs, and still can come back and win it all.
And again, we talked about our upcoming schedule here with Sunday Morning League here on Clutch Sports Media, as Satunas grounds that one right back to Hodges for the easy put out. We will have a little bit of a break after this week. We'll be take on the Tin Lizard Titans. So because we got 9 teams in the league this year, and obviously we want to see each team win, the schedule makers in charge with the PSML, as Hodges has one that bounces in front of the plate and probably would have hit one of us in the head if not for this netting. So we're going to see someone twice this season. It just so happens to be the Falcons. So good news back with you on July 10th. That's a Thursday night at 6 p.m. at the second. And Finn collects and throws them out. And we will have also 3 playoff games featuring teams and dates to be determined August.
Yep, the playoffs early August, and it's all week here at Eastside Center, trying to get to the championship series that will be played at Dozer Park for a 3-game series.
That's always a lot of fun. Definitely encourage everyone to get out and see the Sunday Morning League Championship out at Dozer Park. They've already been there once this year, I believe, for kind of the, what is it called, the Hall of Fame game, the alumni game down there.
PSML alumni game. We saw a lot of the old guy done. We got to see him on the mound. A lot of guys coming back in the league and getting to play one more time.
As a strikeout there of Gutierrez, that will be 1-2, and the Falcons, they'll bat in the bottom of the third, a chance to extend their lead. They've scored 1 in the first again here on Clutch Sports Media. And welcome back to the East Side Center. Had a bit of internet troubles there, but we believe we fixed that all. Glad you're sticking with us here. Sunday Morning League Game of the Week. Now in the bottom of the 3rd inning, as Miller Lite leads 2-0. That one fouled right back above our heads by Brendan Coventry, Falcons catcher, who struck out his first time up. And also gunned down a runner on the base path. That's something we've also seen a lot of in these games this year. Brock, is as Coventry gets hit and he'll head down to first. We've seen some great defensive catchers and a lot of runners thrown out on the base pass this year.
Yeah, I think that also comes to effect that these base runners are being really aggressive. They're being really aggressive, wanting to swipe bags, get runners in scoring position early, because we've been talking about these pitchers. These pitchers have been really, really good this year, and it's definitely a pitcher's league.
So that'll bring up Luke Ketchum, who hit an RBI double his first time up, and that one rides in inside. So back-to-back hit batters. And I'll put runners on first and second with nobody out. And Brock, the Falcons have gotten most of their base runners before this inning on via hits. Not many mistakes like walks hit by pitches in the first 2 frames for the Sand Gnats. But again, it's a hot day. It's very humid. And, control of that ball is going to be a little tough here today as we get a little bit of a visit on the mound.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot one on the mound. Just for all the infielders, outfielders, and especially the catchers and the umpires. You got to stay hydrated. It's a very hot day on the mound, and sometimes it'll get to you. So you just got to bear down and throw strikes and just keep staying consistent and trying to get out of the inning.
As Sosnowski looks at a ball low and away, he lined out to the shortstop Green his last time up. Chance to do some damage here. This one also hit to Green on the bounce. Green flips over to second. They get 1. They do not get 2. A little bit of a slower flip there from Green that allowed Sosnowski to get down to first. So that is a FC 6-4 in the scorebook, and that'll bring up Ulrich. That triple to lead off the second inning. And Brock, I'm glad you brought the umpires. We shouted out the players, the catchers, battling through the heat, but the umpires, they also got a lot of gear on too. They got padding, they got the pants and everything, and definitely a hot one for them too. So I want to thank not just these 2 umpires we have here today, but all the umpires around the Sunday Morning League for being a crucial part of keeping this league going.
Yeah, we have a game going on to our left on Dave Rogers Field. We also have a game going on tonight at ICC.
That one scooted by the catcher Gutierrez, but it does not believe it hit Ulrich. It was pretty close. It hit something. It came in so fast, wasn't quite sure what it was. So now runners on second and third with 1 out. Ulrich ahead in the count, 2-0. And Satunis, not sure what that was. Almost a pump fake there like in football. That is the easiest balk you'll ever see called, and that will score a run for Miller Lite. Now they're up 3-zip.
Yeah, that was an unusual one. Don't really know what happened, like a pump fake, but just forgot to throw the ball.
Now maybe he might have been thinking maybe a pickoff throw that he thought at the last second, maybe that kind of paralysis by analysis. But either way, you don't see that every day, folks. But see it here in the Sunday Morning League tonight. Is that one inside, and Ulrich watches that one go. And who we believe to be Satunis on the mound. Neville got the start, but it looks like Satunis is the pitcher now. Is struggled a bit, especially losing pitches inside. Now the 3-1. That one also inside. But I think that went off of the knob of Ulrich's bat. So I think that's a foul ball. That's going to make it 3-2, and the Sand Gnats get a minor break there.
Sand Gnats are loving that. They got a huge break right there. That could have been a hit by pitch or a wild pitch and score a run, but it's a foul ball.
Either way, Ulrich will reach first base. That one misses low and away. So now runners on first and third for Miller Lite. And Brock, you get the feeling that if they can't get an out here, they might be on the verge of maybe blowing this game open here with Chris Finn at the plate.
Yeah, we saw in their last time out not really close games between these two. And this inning is huge for the Falcons. If they score 2 or 3 more, it doesn't look like this game will be able. The Sand Gnats won't be able to come back just because the Sand Gnats haven't really been able to do anything against this Falcons pitching staff.
They've got runners on base today, but bringing them home has been a different story. Again, they've drawn 4 walks on Hodges and also reached via an error, but have had just 1 hit so far. So, and you can take those free treats, that candy all you want, but eventually if you want to win some baseball games, you do have to actually, most of the time you have to win it yourself, not have it given to you. So they will have to have their bats heat up here if Miller Lite can keep on tacking on runs. That one inside, and that one, I believe, grazed Finn. So now that's 3 hit batters this inning as Satunis is going to have a talk with his third baseman and manager Jake Smith there. And we'll have a conference on the mound. So runner on third base, that's Luke Ketchum, I believe, unless there's a pinch runner. But he got hit by a pitch. Then Ulrich, who's on second base, reached via a walk. And then Finn just now gets hit by a pitch. And that's the only hit batters we've seen all game from either side. All 3 here in this bottom of the third inning as Krutke will come in and face a new pitcher for the Sand Gnats. We'll see who this is. So Ethan Krutke had an RBI single already in this game and has a chance to really add on to his RBI total here. And he's one of those former East Peoria Raiders we mentioned, and I think that East Peoria connection really starts, Brock, with Brian Quinn, their manager, who is an East Peoria alum himself.
Yeah, Brian Quinn, one of the veterans in the Sunday Morning League. Really good guy. He's been successful in the Sunday Morning League and has really helped this league out, and the Falcons. He's been got on base last time on an error. We talked about his stats. Been struggling a little lately, but he's great in the dugout and helping lead this Falcons team to victory.
Most definitely. As the new pitcher for the Sand Gnats, the bearded man, Braden McIntyre, comes in after 7 1/3 innings pitched this season, a 4.77 ERA, 4 strikeouts to 3 walks on the season for him. McIntyre, another former IVC Gray Ghost, and comes in by way of Illinois Central College, or ICC, as us locals frequently call it here, and he'll face Krutke.
Big
the bases juiced.
Big at bat right here for Krutke. With the bases loaded, you'd think 1 or 2 more runs is going to just put this game out of reach for the Sand Gnats.
And not that a 5 or 6 run deficit is insurmountable, but doing so against Hodges, who, especially after that last inning, we saw 1, 2, 3, is maybe kind of starting to hit his groove a little bit. And even if Hodges does have some trouble, Miller Lite has so many good arms that they could also throw as well. That throw gets away and down the right field line. 1 run is going to score, and the others will just be held up. So everyone will move up a base. But Sosnowski comes in from third against Sosnowski, reached via the fielder's choice. The only time there was out was recorded this inning, but now it's 4-zip Falcons here. And again, it's kind of just making those unprompted mistakes. Those hit by pitches and errors are hurting them this inning. That one goes outside.
Yeah, just a costly mistake there on the catcher on the pickoff, scoring a run, and still just 1 out.
Big swing and a miss there from Krutke. Tried to get that one high and in. Now counts even up at 2-2. Brian Quinn on deck for the Falcons. He's their DH today, batting for Hodges. The Sand Gnats, meanwhile, they did not have a DH. Their starting pitcher, Neville, was in the lineup. That one is hit hard and deep to left, but going out and just foul. That one could have been a 2-run double, if not maybe a homer there for Krutke.
Yeah, Krutke just foul. That would have been a double. Don't think it had quite the home run distance, but definitely a 2-bagger at least to drive in 2 right there.
Falcons have made some strong contact today. from several hitters. 2-2 to Krutke, sails high. And now if you're McIntyre, looking at maybe seeing the bases loaded again. However, the small silver line is that it does set up a potential double play.
Falcons have yet to get a hit this inning.
And Krutke goes fishing for a strike and comes up empty. And McIntyre gets the K. That's his 5th of the season. So now it's up to Brian Quinn to keep this inning rolling for the Falcons, who scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 in this inning.
Quinn reached last in the second inning on an error by the third baseman, looking to put this ball in play and causing some action.
4 runs on 4 hits for the Falcons here tonight. No runs on 1 hit for the Sand Gnats. That one is popped up and tracking foul. It'll get out of play. If Quinn can reach Brock, then you're back up to the top of the order. And you're seeing names like Bradford, Seaton, Coventry. So it'd be really nice if you're McIntyre to get out of this inning now. And you feel like, 4 runs, don't want to be down 4 runs, but certainly one you can come back from. And Quinn hesitates and looks at a strike. Now 1-2.
Yeah, Quinn just looking for a ball in play. Reached at an error last time, so good things come when you put the ball in play.
That one fouled back. And again, that's what happened last time Quinn was up. Kind of a slow grounder over to the third baseman, Smith, who just couldn't quite get a handle on it. And Quinn ended up reaching base. One and 2 from McIntyre. And Quinn just gets a piece of it. Nice job by the vet of staying alive. Sun's starting to set a little bit, starting to cool off a bit here at the East Side Center in East Peoria. And Quinn looks as that one sails high.
Great plate appearance right here by Brian Quinn. Looking for the 7th pitch of the at-bat.
This has been a long one. He still stays alive, just throwing his bat out there and still making contact. How about the scrappy DH Brian Quinn?
Quinn's seen a lot of things in this Sunday morning league. Nothing seems to fool him.
Yeah, you've played for over 30 years in this league. Yeah, you have seen just about everything. That one is hit and through for Brian Quinn. One run's going to score. A second comes in safely. It's a 2-run single for Quinn, and he's going to stretch this out over to second base after the throw came in. Nice job base running. So how about Brian Quinn? The older fella getting it done for the Falcons. And, Brock, that's just the beauty of this league. You have some guys about 40, 50 years old and can still play like they were back in the day.
Yeah, good single. That was a long at-bat, tiring at-bat for the pitcher. And Quinn just reaching it right back to the pitcher and gets through for the RBI. Now 6-0 Falcons.
It's now the 8th batter of the inning for the Falcons. It's Peyton Bradford, their leadoff man, who's looking for his first hit after striking out in the first and popping out in the second. That one rides inside another hit batter. That's 4 in the inning now. And that has really been what has hurt the Sand Gnats. You take away those hit-by pitches, you take away maybe those diving plays in the outfield, and again, I think you're looking at maybe a 2-0 ball game at the most, but as those little things are ballooning into big things, and that's how Miller Lite has gone ahead 6-zip as Alex Seaton comes to bat.
Yeah, 4 hit by pitches and 3 reached on an error. So the free passes, free bases have really hurt the Sand Gnats tonight.
Seaton tripled in the first and popped out in the second. And McIntyre will step off the mound. Seaton came into tonight hitting 167 with 2 RBIs. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. Another good pitch there from McIntyre.
If you're the Sand Gnats, you just need to get out of this inning. It's been a long, exhausting inning. It's hot out, and just looking for a third out.
That one is hit hard into the gap, but caught. Nice job there by J.P. Meyer getting to that one. Otherwise, it could have been a bigger deficit, but the Falcons score 4. They now lead 6-zip through 3 innings here at the East Side Center in East Peoria. Taking a look kind of around the league at other games going on tonight. We'll try and update you on some other scores at the moment. Cruisins and Move Smart playing right now. The Reds lead that one 2-1. The Poor Bros Jacks up big on the Tin Lizard Titans 8-zip. That is the first game of a doubleheader between those two tonight. I believe that's just over to our left at Dave Rogers Field, where we've typically been for most of our broadcasts in years past. Now we're kind of moving over. This is kind of the new kind of home field for our PSML games on Clutch Sports Media. How about the Jacks, Brock? I mean, 8-0. That's that Jacks team is still very dangerous. We saw them win via a walk-off against, I believe it was Moose Smart in the first game that we did last week. And that is, you know, I believe reigning league champions, still pretty hungry.
Yeah, they're a 500 team right now. A little curious of how what they're gonna do, but they got a lot of talent on that team, and they could just skyrocket up. But right now they're just a 500 team, and we're looking at a Falcons team who's looking for their 8th straight victory tonight, and they've looked really, really good.
And again, Miller Lite, if they won tonight, would move to 8-1 on the season. So nice little win streak that they've put together. And again, if they can win here tonight, you figure, well, if they can get a win without McConkey or David Ellis pitching, I figure that sets them up pretty good, because those guys have been pretty much unbeatable. And Hodges also has had some good numbers coming into tonight. He had 13 strikeouts in 6 innings with no ERA. So it'll be Jace Wilkerson to lead things off here for the Sand Gnats. No, that's McIntyre. So Wilkerson out, McIntyre in. Again, he's their pitcher now. And a strike on the outside corner, and that will ring up McIntyre. Hodges really seems like he's starting to really hit his groove now. 3 strikeouts in the last 5 batters.
Yeah, we were talking about how dominant this Falcons team is. The team ERA of 1.14 on the season.
Ooh, baby.
McConkey and Ellis have yet to give up a run, and just dominating performance for the Falcons defensively.
So in steps Hunter McCaw, reached on an error his first time up back in the 2nd inning. McCaw came into today hitting .320 with a double and an RBI. Also 2 walks and 7 strikeouts on the year. And he's one of a couple guys that have also pitched for the Sand Gnats. And if you are a Sound of Peoria, Brock, I think a big key is just making sure that you can maybe get McIntyre to close this thing out. You don't want to have to use up 3 pitchers in a game where, you got games later in the week. You might want to save some of your other guys, and you never know when you might need him, and you don't want to have to not be able to have a guy be able to throw, because he's tired from Monday's game, for example.
Yeah, but on the same side of that, you had to finish this game, and if the Falcons are just hitting off of these pitchers, you got to make some moves to try to just cruise along and get out of this game.
Still a little bit too early to talk about that again. Sound of Peoria is still in it, but it's going to take a big comeback as McCaw strikes out. That's now 3 straight strikeouts from Hodges. His breaking ball really working now as Ahart looks at it for strike 1.
Yeah, Gnatz just 1 hit in this game. Cruising along on the mound is Hodges.
That one a little bit low and in the carpet. We're going to say in the dirt, but if you're not able to tell, this is the turf, one of the turf fields here at the East Side Center. I love to get what the temperature was of the turf at the start of this game.
I'll tell you what, it's hot. Hot.
See if we can put our research department on that, do some scientific calculations, but Hodges' calculations have resulted in 4 straight strikeouts and another 0 on the scoreboard. He's really starting to cruise now as his team now leads 6-0 through 3.5. Looking for their 8th straight win.
Charlie Hodges, that's 8 strikeouts in 4 innings, just cruising along. 4 straight strikeouts, only allowed a hit. The pitch count is a little bit high, but that'll come due to the high strikeout rate that he's going on the mound. The Gnatz have not been able to figure out Charlie Hodges.
We're looking at how hot do turf fields get compared to other fields and the temperature. This is astonishing, Brock. Some turf can reach upwards of 170 to 180 degrees. Now, I'm not sure. I think it's got to be a certain type of turf, and I'm sure maybe you have made improvements to turf that makes it less hot when it is so warm out. On an average summer day, I see here 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The surface of artificial turf will be 165 degrees.
That,
again, that is not official. That's not exactly how hot it was here, but that's just what we found out from a quick Google search.
that's toasty.
Good news is I don't think it's 165 now. It's starting to get down a little bit, but glad you're with us here and hopefully inside some air conditioning here. Tuned in to watch Sunday Morning League on Clutch Sports and Media, and not to continue being a pretend meteorologist, Brock, but we have a heat advisory in the area that is not just a couple hours or a day long. It's spanning from it was issued a while ago, a few days ago, and it is extending until Thursday at 7 p.m. The entire time from here until Thursday at 7 p.m. All of most of Greater Peoria under a heat advisory. So definitely you want to hydrate this week, no matter what you're doing. Even if you're just going outside and maybe just get the mail.
Yeah,
Coventry watches a breaking ball for strike 1.
It's definitely a hot one out. Last night, heck, we could have played at Eastside, as there's a ground ball that's going to go foul, but we could have played here at Eastside at 2 in the morning because it was 80 degrees out. Like the low was 77 or 78 degrees. That would have been nicer weather than it is right now.
Brock, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'm sure you got to really pull a lot of strings. You got to get the East Side people on board. You got to find umpires for it. You got to find, the players to be for it. And, some of these guys, a lot of these guys do have day jobs, so I'm sure that it's kind of more of a hypothetical than a realistic scenario. But if you were to have baseball under the lights, maybe kind of a midnight, 2 a.m. first pitch, I think that would be really cool. just see what that's like. You know, I know up in Alaska sometimes, I think there's a summer league up in Alaska, and one of the longest days of the year, it can be past midnight or around midnight, and it will still be light outside, and they will be playing baseball.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact that if we were to propose the idea of playing baseball past midnight, there'd be a lot of no's on board.
Coventry strikes out there, looking on a nice pitch there from McIntyre. So getting that first out going to be really key for the Sand Gnats this inning. They've struggled to do that in some of the other ones as Luke Ketchum comes up to bat. But back to your point, Brock.
Yeah, Sunday morning league. We've had some long nights here at Eastside, and a lot of guys again have day jobs. A lot of the interns have more than just this job, so you know, playing at 2 in the morning is not the greatest idea.
Probably not, but it's fun to dream as Ketchum looks at a ball outside. Speaking of that, basically in Alaska, it's, again, just the Alaska Baseball League under the umbrella of the National Baseball Congress. It's a collegiate summer league, is that one. Inside it looked like on Ketchum, but called for a strike. The teams in that league, there's only 5 of them, and some pretty heavy travel involved. I mean, anytime you talk about sports teams in Alaska, you got the Anchorage Bucks, you got the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, so they both play at the same stadium. Not much travel involved there. You got the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks, the Matsu Miners, and the Peninsula Oilers. One of the more fascinating leagues that you'll ever see. And ball 4, no, strike 3, excuse me, rather to Ketchum. So now McIntyre kind of starting to find his groove here in the bottom of the 4th as Ethan Sosnowski comes up.
Both pitchers starting to find their groove. We saw last inning where they struck out the side, and now Sosnowski coming up after his last 2 teammates both struck out, looking for a different outcome right now.
Sosnowski will look at a ball. Chase Ulrich on deck for the Falcons.
You know, the thing that has surprised me the most, Jonathan, is the Falcons have scored 6 runs, but they've only had 4 hits in this ballgame.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, it's not a lot of action.
Oh, and McIntyre slips and falls. A little mad at himself there, perhaps laughing a bit. Sean Green, their second baseman, gives him a smile, but Sosnowski will beat that out. We'll call that an infield single. I don't think that's worthy of an error. That was just a tough play to make and kind of the Bermuda Triangle of the infield right there.
He fell to a victim of the turf monster.
Yeah,
they
the
would
turf
say.
monster did get him.
The turf monster did get him there. That'll be an infield single. But yeah, the little nubber breaks up the strikeout rate that he has going on the mound. He's been dealing these last. Both pitchers have really been able to settle into this game, and I think first off, it's gotten a lot cooler now. It's not as hot, so but out there on the mound, you start to just relax and calm down and throw strikes like he's doing.
That one, though, a bit upstairs on Ulrich. And Ulrich, a former ICC Cougar, came into today hitting .429 with 2 RBIs and a double. And these stats are only through 8 games. So if it seemed low, it's been because, yeah, these teams haven't played a ton of games so far. And Miller Lite still shy of the halfway point of the regular season for them. Sand Gnatz, so right around the halfway point for them, though. Strike there on Ulrich. And again, Sand Gnatz looking to avoid the sweep and avoid their 3rd straight shutout at the hands of the Falcons. And a pitch just a bit outside. And Ulrich will take his 2nd stroll of the night down to first base. And that'll bring up Chris Finn. Brock, back to what you were saying about, the runs versus the amount of hits for the Falcons. They were very efficient in the early innings. There was a triple for Seton, scored on a double RBI from Ketchum. And then Ulrich had a triple in the second, and Krutke sealed him home. And we just get another hit batter, and that's the second time that Chris Finn has gotten hit. That one, though, just grazed his jersey.
A lot of free bases given up by the Sand Gnats. We were talking about how they're trying to avoid their third shutout against the Falcons. The Sand Gnats have been shut out 4 times, and that is the most by any PSML team in the league. So, struggling offense for the Sand Gnats team so far.
It is a big at-bat here for Braden McIntyre here against Ethan Krutke, who struck out his last time up. Six nothing here in the bottom of the fourth. Falcons have scored in every inning except this one so far. And it sails high. It's now 3-0. So after 2 strikeouts, a single, a walk, and a hit by pitch have put the Sand Gnats in some more trouble here. A walk would score another one. Can't give up too much more, otherwise we might be looking at a mercy rule potentially. We haven't seen many of those here in our Sunday morning league games on CSM. Krutke watches a strike. He had the red light there the entire time.
There's only been one game where I've seen the mercy rule come into effect, and that was a no-hitter. When the Brienzo's Orioles threw a no-hitter, that was including a mercy rule.
So Krutke draws the walk, and with nowhere else to go, Ethan Sosnowski will come across the plate. Now 7-0, and Brian Quinn, or rather no, it looks like his son Jarek going to get a chance to bat here. So Jarek Quinn, Richwood's Knight star player for them, will get his third at-bat of the season. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI and a walk and a chance to, perhaps maybe even quadruple his RBI total here at the plate now.
We were talking about the youth of the Falcons. Jarek Quinn, one of the young guys on this Falcons team, playing with his dad, just subbed in for his dad, Brian, looking to come through with the bases loaded.
I think it's really cool, Brock, that Brian Quinn wears number 47. Jarek Quinn wears his father's numbers flipped. He's number 74. Pretty cool there as Quinn flies this one into right. And that one's going to get down and past McCaw, fighting the sun there. 1 run scores, 2 run scores. The 3rd run is going to come across. Quinn hustles into 3rd. It's a bases clearing triple, and it's 10-0 Falcons here in the bottom of the 4th, Brock. And this inning started with back-to-back strikeouts.
Yeah, the tough play out there in the outfield. We've seen a couple mistakes out there in the outfield that have really cost the Sand Gnats tonight. And now 10-0 game here in the 4th.
And here's Peyton Bradford. Skies this one up into short center. Is there going to be more trouble here? No, this one is caught there by Cam Ahart. So the first 2 runners are retired, but a single, a walk, a hit by pitch, a bases loaded walk, and a bases clearing triple for Jarek Quinn brings in 3 runs. Falcons lead 10-0, and I believe if Southern Peoria does not score here, we will be done, and the Falcons will have a big win in the scoring column.
Yep, that is right. The 10-run mercy rule is definitely in play. Kind of just a little, if you're the Sand Gnats, you're kind of just stunned by what has just happened. Giving up 4 in that inning, 4 in the last inning. It was just 2-0 in the second inning.
Yeah.
So it was just like a little bit comfortable, and all of a sudden just an offensive explosion by the Falcons.
And like we said, the Falcons haven't gotten a ton of hits. Now they have had 3 triples. I don't know the last time I've seen a game has had 3 triples, so they've definitely been taking advantage of some of their speed and some defensive miscues from the Sand Gnats. But, you know, I've had those, and I got a lot of the trouble has come from the hit by pitches, the walks. You know, there hasn't really been a ton of stolen bases. You know, it hasn't really been a ton of errors per se. Now, there's been some close calls where maybe you could give them an error, but again, the sun really, I think, made it tough for McCaw on that fly ball to right. So it'll be Jonathan Neville, Sean Green, and J.P. Meyer up to bat to try and keep hope for the Sand Gnats alive here in the top of the 5th. Check in on our other Sunday morning league games as Neville looks at a strikeout, or a ball rather, outside. Pardon me there. Cruzen still leads Move Smart 2-1. And Poor Bros still leading Tin Lizard 8-0. Looking at some more recent games that happened over the weekend. Move Smart took down Brienzo's 1-0. That was a good win for Move Smart to kind of, again, stay in that mix with about 7 teams all jammed in with about 2 games of each other. And the Tin Lizard Titans took down the Coles Diamond Gallery Royals 3-1 yesterday as well. As Neville looks at a ball 3-1 in the count, so perhaps maybe a big swing here. See what he can find against Charlie Hodges. That one, strike on the lower inside corner. Nice spot there from Hodges, who, again, has struck out his last 4 batters.
We actually have a, looks like Bryce Seaton on the mound now for the Falcons.
Good catch there as Neville flies out to right, and you figure why not? Hodges has pitched some solid innings. You're up 10-0. Bring in another guy, and you're right, that is Bryce Seaton on the mound for the Falcons. Former Peoria Notre Dame Irish comes into tonight. 9 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, and he too has a low ERA, 1.56. That's still one of the higher ones on the team for the Falcons, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, with the Falcons team ERA at a 1.1, 1.5 would be considered not the greatest, which is just an insane, just shows the fact how insane the Falcons pitching staff has been.
So Sean Green up to bat. He's walked twice and was thrown out stealing back in the first inning. So I have a fly that will not get away from my microphone, Brock. He really enjoys this, the end of it. We got a new friend here, making all sorts of friends here during this game. Maybe, are you a Sand Gnat? No response. He's right on the microphone, so if you would have said anything, you would have heard it. As Green chops that one goes back foul.
Something every day on the Clutch Sports Media live stream.
There's been a couple, I don't know, I say there's about a ton of animal encounters. I think there maybe one time there was a couple of beer, something of that nature. And, you know, sometimes here at the East Side Center, we do see some people do like to bring their dogs out. I don't see many 4-legged friends in attendance here, at least at this diamond. And Green hits that one also foul. And it'll stay 2-2.
The one animal encounter that I've had was actually at East Side Center, up in the press box.
Oh, up in the press box. Oh, boy.
There was a wasp that went through the ventilation system.
Oh, no.
And landed on the microphone.
Oh, my.
And, yeah, had to announce with the wasp right next to me the entire game.
Man, oh, man. That's tough because for the waves from your voice probably would do enough to anger it. You never know. Now a full count here to Sean Green, who's been about as pesky as a wasp in the batter's box tonight for the Sand Gnats, drawing 2 walks. Trying to draw his third. And looks at strike 3. It made an early break towards first base, but he gets rung up on a nice pitch there from Bryce Seaton.
Good pitch right there, and now just 1 out away from this game coming to a close.
And last chance is J.P. Meyer, left fielder for the Sand Gnats. Struck out twice today, once swinging and once looking. Big swing there. And if you are the Sand Gnats, again, maybe a tough loss, tough one to swallow, and it would be 3 shutout losses to the Falcons, but at least are able to get out of this heat. And as far as we know, unless something happened in the dugout, I think everyone is going to leave today's game safe and sound. Maybe a bit thirsty, definitely a bit hot. Maybe some long, cold showers for sure later tonight, but you never know with this heat. It could bring a lot of victims. And the Falcons pick up another victim in the Sand Gnats. Strikeout of Meyer will end this one. A 10-0 victory in 5 innings. They took the fly swatter and threw it down, especially in that 3rd and 4th inning. They broke ahead for 8 runs.
Yeah, a dominant performance by the by the Falcons tonight. 10-0 mercy rule. That is the Falcons' 4th straight game throwing a shutout. Just absolute domination on the mound. Sand Gnats 0-3 against the Falcons, not scoring a run. The good news is you're not going to see them until the playoffs, probably.
Yep.
And this Falcons team is the best team in the league. So you will get the positive of playing a team not like the Falcons, but certainly something to look forward to. You're in last place, and you gotta get some wins under your belt right now.
Well, there are a few things in life that are certain. That's death, taxes, and the Miller Lite Falcons are going to be always a force in the Peoria Sunday Morning League, and they certainly show it here tonight in our Sunday Morning Game of the Week again, presented by Bodyarmor. Again, I want to thank all of our great sponsors that help make tonight's broadcast and all of our broadcasts here for the Sunday Morning League on Clutch Sports Media possible. Definitely give that a try next time you're out at the grocery store. And also want to thank all of our crew tonight that stuck it out through some hot weather. Our producer, Mark Wagner, doing a fantastic job. Also, Sydney Barnes behind our camera tonight doing a great job as well. Thank you for tuning in wherever you were tonight. We're glad you stuck with us and hung out and saw a big win for the Miller Lite Falcons, 10-0 in 5 innings over the Sound of Peoria Sand Gnats. That will do it from the East Side Center in East Peoria. For Brock Alkire, I'm Jonathan Michaels saying so long and good night. We'll see you on Thursday for more Sunday Morning League action right here on ClutchSportsIL.com.